Sup? This is rcdimalanta, and welcome to my YouTube channel about registered nursing. And today's topic is technically how to get promoted. Now, a lot of people I look at in the unit and I see got promoted a lot faster, and a lot of people are getting promoted slower. And I'm not sure if that's just the trend of things or if they don't know how it's done or anything like that. But technically, I'm gonna tell you how I did it, and I hope it helps you. Okay? So let me in-service you. So one of the first things about getting promoted is that, well, before you even try to get promoted, the biggest thing that a lot of people don't do is that they don't get to know everybody on the unit. Now, it's important that you understand who your HSAs are, who's your A&M, who's your manager, who's your coworkers, all this other stuff, right? But it's also important to get to know like the phlebotomist, the EKG tech, the doctors, just in general, everybody should know your name. And it's important that everybody knows your name, because regardless of, even if you are like nice or not, or you're mean or anything like that, you want to try to be mean. You want to try to be nice, obviously. But the thing is that people always talk, right? So if you know that people always talk, you're going to use that vehicle to get people to talk about you. Now, one of the things is that most people, they don't like to talk to other people. They think that they're in their own little world. They feel like, oh, I don't need to talk to you. You're lesser than me. That's some bullshit. By the way, that's fucked up, actually. But anyways, on another note, like, we're just as equal as other people, and the way you treat other people, you never know. They may be the type of people that actually, bring you up in the end, or they may be on the come up. You can have connections with those people in the long run. So the first thing, very first principle, definitely to getting promoted, is get to know everyone and be nice to everyone. The second thing I want you to know is this. You need to show value to people. It's not enough that, like, most people, it's crazy, because it's not enough that people are like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I can help you, like, turn a patient, I can give you a cosign. Nah, none of that shit. But it's like, that's just nursing, right? That's nursing in general, that, like, people are like, hey, I need the help. Can you help me? It's like, oh yeah, okay, pat on the shoulder right there, right? But that is just something that's work related. Now, if you don't show value to people, why do fucking people care in general, right? That's what they want to know. They want to know, like, what do you bring to my life, right? What is it that you can offer me, or what can you bring to me? What value did you show me from you being on the unit? Now, if I came to you and I spoke to a class of like 50 people and I said, hey, look, check it out. It's going to be a process. You're going to be fine, right? If you have any questions, talk to me. I mentor you and basically tell you exactly what the pitfalls are, but you have to go through and do the work. Now, a lot of people, right, they're all about themselves. They don't really care about other people. They don't really share their secrets and stuff like that. But the thing is, they are actually doing themselves a disservice by not teaching you the right way, or not teaching you the secrets to actually accomplish something in the unit. Now, if I were to teach 10, 15, 25, 50 people, even 100 people, even 1,000 people, it doesn't really fucking matter. As long as I'm able to show value to at least, like, even if it was just 5 of those people, if I was able to show value to 5 of those people, at least those 5 people can now share value to other people, and they can duplicate that and duplicate that and duplicate that, and then now we have a different culture arising in the unit. So yes, the second thing that you definitely need to do is show value. And I'm not saying that you have to, like, obviously, like, do everything for everyone else or something like that, but it's all about teaching. Like, it's all about, like, hey, just teach someone something and have them remember that. As long as you're able to show them, like, oh yeah, this is what I remember that person. Yeah, that will eventually get you pretty far. Number 3. So a lot of people are like, man, I'm a hard worker. I'm so hardworking. I do everything in this unit, and I deserve more. I want a raise. It's like, well, the question is, does your manager know you want to get promoted? That's the real question. Do they know your goal? Like, if you're saying, like, I want to be a charge nurse, well, what the fuck are you doing? Do they even know you want to be a charge nurse? Or, like, what are you actually contributing to the unit to become a charge nurse? That's some of the things that you have to really think about. And as for a lot of people, they think about, like, oh yeah, I want to do this, but I don't want to put in the work to do it. Well, the thing is, you need to tell someone that you want to get there, so then your manager can actually help you get there, right? Because the thing is that the manager is already busy with a lot of shit, right? The manager is just busy, period. They don't have time to be thinking about like, oh, let me just follow you for one day and let me just watch how you work. No. It doesn't work like that, right? You got to go up there and be like, hey, look, this is what I want from the unit, right? What do I have to do to get to it? And that's the most important part. So if I, it wasn't even until like the very first like meeting, I think at the very first meeting when I was actually getting off an orientation, I said, how do I get to Clint? How do I get to Clint 2? And I made it clear what I had to do. My manager told me, right? There's like, well, it wasn't, she said, well, technically you don't have to, but I would want you to work full time. And I said, will that help me be a Clint 2? And she said, well, it'd help you be a stronger Clint 2. And being strong as a nurse was also one of my goals. So I was going to work full time, get the knowledge, and then get promoted hella down, right? So by the end of the year, basically I got to my Clint 2, and basically I was pretty much the first one to get my Clint 2 out of my whole cohort. So that was pretty dope. So yes, people need to know exactly where you're going so they can help give you the tools to get there. That's number 3. Number 4 is who also knows your goal, right? Because it's not the fact that you also want to have a goal and your manager knows you have a goal, but who knows about your goal? Because people who know about your goal know that you're serious about your goal. And if you talk about it, people know what to expect so they could keep you accountable. And it's going to keep you accountable because you just told them that you're going for it. Does that kind of make sense? So it's kind of like a personal marker. Like if you for sure know that you want to hit that and that's what your goal is, tell people about it. Let people know. It's all good. If you don't get it, it's totally fine. But at least you have something that were not public about. Like if I say like right now, I'm going for assistant nurse manager, right? I'm going for assistant nurse manager. I'm gonna let it be known because now that gets in circulation about who's gonna be the runner-ups for assistant nurse manager. But that's the reason why I vocalize it. That's the reason why I let people know. And I even talk to the people who are also going against me, but it's all in good competition. Now the thing is that when you're going for that, it's not a competition in terms of, oh, I'm better than you because I'm a fucking A&M, or I'm better than you because I'm a registered nurse, or I'm Clint 2 or Clint 3, who gives a fuck? Like at the same time, it doesn't really matter at that moment. It doesn't matter who hits it faster, who hits it slower, or doesn't like that. It's about your own personal growth, right? So like for me going into it, like if I'm going to be an A&M, if someone else gets it, totally great. Totally great. I know that person's capable. It's totally fine. I have no problems with that. But the thing is, a lot of people take that like to the head, and it's like they become very, very egotistical. They become arrogant about it, and that's what actually drives them drives them down. And you don't want to be that type of person that's like, oh, because I did it, all of a sudden I'm better than you. It's not like that. Honestly, just because you have a title doesn't mean you're the mostly qualified for it. Let's be real. Number 5 is, what is your specialty, right? It's most important that you have a specialty, right? Everyone's like, because let me put it in perspective here. Everybody on the unit is a nurse, right? So what separates all these people? I don't know. A specialty? I don't know. What is your specialty? The question is, you have to have a specialty. I don't know what it is, but you better get something going, because at the end of the day, that's what separates you. That's what brings up your name in certain situations where people cannot do what you can do. And that's very, very important, right? So if you have a specialty and you haven't been, and no one knows about it, then you're not really standing out. You're not really marketing yourself or anything like that. And that's the worst thing that you can do, is not let people admire or use your gift to their ability, to the best of their ability. And it kind of sucks when that happens, because the fact that now you're shortchanging yourself. You're actually forcing yourself to grow slower than you actually can. And so you find a specialty. And if no one knows about your specialty, if you have a specialty and no one knows about it, then you haven't done your due diligence and haven't really put yourself out there for people to know exactly who you are. Number 6 is, how do you market yourself? That's like the hardest question, right? That's like, ooh, I don't know how to do that. Actually, I really do. But at the same time, for you, right, you just have to be you. And as stupid as that sounds, no, I'm actually very serious about that, right? Now, there are a lot of people who are like outgoing, right? And there's some people that are shy. You shy. You shy, but in a different way, right? Like point where like it gets people talking. Like, oh, that, you know, if I were to portray someone, right? If I do like a quirk or something like that, I know exactly who you are, right? So it's funny because you think about this. It's funny because, or sorry, it's funny because I actually in pictures, if you notice on Facebook, right? If you notice on Facebook, I actually pose in different ways. Even if it's in a way that's like for me more feminine or anything like that, I'll do it. Why? Because I really don't care about what other people think about my sexual orientation. I'm already married, so it doesn't even matter. But at the end of the day, at the same time, it's like if I do that and people talk about it, then they just market it for me. I don't have to do anything. That's really what I actually do, right? Because people are like, oh yeah, look at this picture, right? And then people ask, who is that? Who is that? Who is that, right? I did a step down video for my unit and people were like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that, right? And they found out what my name was. And then that's exactly how it happens. So that marketing, I did that for myself. So that's kind of like those examples of how I did it. Like I'm outgoing at work. I bust jokes, I dance, I'm just like this happy person at work, right? That's just well, in general, I am this happy person, but in general, that's just who I am as a person, right? But at the end of the day, in my mind, I'm actually methodically picking this apart of how I can push myself and make myself stand out as opposed to putting myself in the crowd of everybody that's all saturated. Does that kind of make sense? Like if you look at all the teachers and stuff like that, right? Why is it that when it comes to charge nurse, there's only 2 teachers that actually come to mind that are like the best charge nurses that come to mind, that have pretty much trained everybody here, and they're probably the longest people, 2 teachers that work the longest here, right? And if one retires, there's only one more, right? And then you have, right? And then they had their specialties. They had their specialties in training. They had their specialties in nursing. They had their specialties, and they let people know about that. And it's hella crazy how if you watch and you learn from those teachers of how they actually do it, it's pretty powerful how they actually did it. And they don't even know that they did it, but they're just so damn good that it actually gets marketed that way. Number 7 is, do you believe in your own ability? What I mean by that is, as a nurse, you have to be sure about your ability as a nurse, to be able to make sure that nursing as a general does not conflict with who you are marketing as, right? Because if you market wrong, if you're a shitty nurse and you market yourself and you're putting yourself out there, that's all that's really going to come back. You have to solve one part of the equation, which is your nursing, to be able to stand out above the rest at that moment. Does that kind of make sense? So get your nursing down, have that be your very, very, very first priority. And people will notice you as a nurse and be like, yeah, he or she is really solid, right? I like that person. I can depend on that person. They're really good. They could do everything, right? Then you have your specialties. Those specialties is what actually gets you called out. And that's where it all becomes. But you have to be sure about your own ability as a person and your own ability with your specialty. If you say, like, I'm specialty at so and so and so, and you freaking suck, well, it doesn't really help you there. So that's some of the things that you have to do to kind of make up for that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to tell you. That's basically all I have for you guys. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. These are like the tips that I really want to give out to other people, hopefully that they utilize it and they put it to work. It's just one of those things where I feel like I needed to actually give this out to people to actually make them go out and go get it. So thanks for watching. Subscribe and like and leave a comment if there's anything else you want to ask or anything like that. Definitely. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. All right, take care. Bye.